Now, she and I dated for a while, and we broke up like a lot of young couples do, kind of under fishy circumstances, but that's something else entirely. And we years later we caught back up and we were friends. We were serious friends, and I was in love with her, like not just like some kind of goofy little crush. I was seriously, legitimately in love with her. But I knew that it could never be, and it killed me. It really did. Um, and then one day I made the mistake of introducing her to my friend Enzo, and so they met, fucked, started a relationship, and then they're like, "Oh my God, how did we tell Jimmy?" So then we'll see. This isn't the first time. I'd like to say. Here are a few occasions. There was once I had this girl over, no reviews or duct tape, and like we were talking, and then my friend Alan came over, and he's like, "Hey, can I use your computer?" I said, "Yeah, sure, go for it." And he was complaining about his back, and the girl goes, "Lie on your stomach." And we're both like, "What?" She's like, "No, I'll give you a back rub." So then like he lay on his stomach, and she straddled him and like started giving him this deep tissue massage. Then he looked up at me, and I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker. You motherfucker." And then a few days later, actually like a week later, he calls me up. He's like, "Dude, remember that chick I met at your place?" Yeah. And then a few years before that, when I was in high school in 1607, I was into this girl, Heather. Her name was Heather. And I introduced her to my brother, Rick. And then it was really cool because then I remember one day after school seeing her, just walking by seeing her, and she's making out with that skinny little pipsqueak. I have some stories about him. I'll tell y'all some a little bit later, just to get my revenge out on him a little bit. And I was mad. I was like really fucking mad for him, or really fucking mad at him for like a day. Because he's my brother, and But anyway, so then Enzo had the fucking gall, and my chick friend, her name's Amber. He had the fucking gall to come outside. I was in his carport smoking. He came out. He pulled a bucket over, sat down with me, and he goes, I think I like Amber." What the fuck, man? I'm a firm believer in the idea of there are two ideas that govern my friendships. One, true friends stab you in the front. Two, wounds from a friend are better than kisses from an enemy. And I was pissed off that they didn't have the fucking nad to just be upfront and honest with me. Oh, and then they're like, "Well, if it really bothers you, then we won't date." What the fuck do you say to that? I mean, what do you say? "No, I don't want you. No, I don't want you to date. Don't date." Then you feel like the asshole. But then you say, "Oh no, okay." It's like, what am I supposed to be fine with it? No, I'm not fine with it. But there was one time, when we, like a bunch of my buddies were like, "Hey, we're gonna go get something to eat." It was like a big deal, one of those big Saturdays, and I called up Enzo and Amber and I said, "Hey, do you want to come with?" Because I am not perfect. I am far from it. But I try. I try my best to take the high road, to do a good moral thing. And I figured it would be a good deed for me to do, to give them a date, a real date, instead of just them sitting around playing video games and fucking. So I called them up. "Do you want to go? Do you want to go out to eat with us?" "Yeah." So we all went out to eat, and at one point Amber said, "Hey, I have a friend who doesn't live too far from here. You want me to call her up?" I said, "Yeah, sure, go for it." So she came in. She had long black hair, glasses, fair skin, tattoos. She was wearing like this black tank top and black jeans. And I took one look at her and I said, "You're out of my league." Yeah, she was hot. And I know I killed it, especially because we were hanging out and like Enzo and I got into an argument about what was about the situation at hand, and like the mature adult that I am, I stormed out, and I'm to smoke a cigarette, and I'm like, man, I just really killed it. So she was nice enough to give us a ride back to my place, and we, we went in. Enzo and Amber claimed the living room, and we didn't want to have anything to do with that, so we just hung out in my room, and I was actually getting really into her. I mean, she was really cool, and she was really cool, good conversationalist, and those are things I like. So see, I have this. What I tried to do was I tried to kind of feel her out a little bit. Like I tried dropping little hints and beating around the bush a little bit, And so she's eventually she's like, "Are you trying to tell me something?" I'm like, "Oh fuck." Now see, I have this speech prepared that I've had since I was 15 because I have zero game. I have as much game now as I did when I was 15, which is to say, none. And so I said to her, "Look, and this is a speech that I've used plenty of times with very little deviation." I said, "Well, I'm really into you. I think you're really cool. I think you're smart. I think you're funny. I think you're gorgeous, and I'd like to, pursue something with you. But if you don't feel that way, it's all right. I won't begrudge you. Just pretend I didn't say anything." So she then lay down and she turned away from me, and I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" Huh. So I lay next to her. I'm like, "Okay, no mace spray, no taser. All right." So then I pretended like I was reaching for something, and then I felt like a really lame rom-com moment, and then I fell on her. I'm like, haha. Went back. Okay, no mace spray, no taser, doing all right. Then she turned around, she called me an idiot, and she kissed me. All right, sweet moment. She ended up being the worst girlfriend I've ever had.